Springboks attack coach Tony Brown has delivered a clear and measured message to struggling Stormers playmaker Sacha Feinberg-Mngomezulu. Trust the system, trust your teammates, and don't try to do everything alone. The gifted 24-year-old fly half has endured a difficult spell with the Stormers after what had initially looked like a dream 2025-26 United Rugby Championship (URC) campaign. Once flying high at the top of the standings, the Cape Town-based franchise has stumbled in recent weeks, and much of the spotlight has fallen on their young general at number 10. Brown, who works closely with Feinberg-Mngomezulu in the South African National Rugby Union team setup, believes the issue is not one of talent or ability, but rather pressure. Specifically, self-imposed pressure that from flying start to sudden slump the Stormers' season could hardly have begun in better fashion. They opened the URC campaign with 8 consecutive victories, playing with confidence, control, and attacking flair. Their narrow 13-8 victory over the Bulls in Cape Town in early January appeared to cement their status as genuine title contenders. At that stage, John Dobson's men were sitting comfortably atop the URC table. The forward pack was dominant, the defensive systems were tight, and Feinberg-Mngomezulu was pulling the strings with the kind of composure that had made him one of the most exciting young playmakers in world rugby. However, momentum can shift quickly in elite competitions that back-to-back defeats to the Sharks, one in Cape Town and another in Durban, halted the Stormers' surge. The losses exposed cracks in their defensive alignment and decision-making under pressure. Where once they had closed out tight contests with authority, they now struggled to maintain structure in critical moments. The URC then paused for 4 weeks due to the Six Nations, and many supporters felt the timing offered a valuable opportunity. The break could allow the squad to regroup, recover physically, and reset mentally before resuming their campaign. Instead, the slump deepened. Upon returning to action, the Stormers were convincingly beaten 24-10 by the Lions in Johannesburg. That third straight defeat saw them tumble down the standings to 5th place, still competitive, but no longer commanding. The burden of expectation central to discussions about the Stormers' dip in form has been Feinberg-Mngomezulu's performances. Once the symbol of their attacking spark, he has recently appeared hesitant, overeager, and occasionally out of rhythm. The contrast has been stark compared to his performances for the Springboks during their end-of-year tour to Europe in late 2025. On that stage, he looked assured beyond his years, calm under pressure, accurate in his kicking game, and selective in his attacking decisions what changed. Part of the narrative revolves around leadership responsibility. In mid-January, Feinberg-Mngomezulu was appointed Stormers captain for their Investec Champions Cup clash against Leicester Tigers in Cape Town. He led the side to victory, showcasing maturity and composure. He retained the captaincy for the subsequent match against the Sharks. But following consecutive defeats, the decision was made to relieve him of leadership duties ahead of the Lions encounter. Experienced lock J.D. Schickerling took over the armband, allowing Feinberg-Mngomezulu to concentrate solely on his role as playmaker. The move was intended to free him mentally, but it did not immediately yield results. Against the Lions, he struggled to impose himself on the game, and his influence was limited. The Stormers' attack lacked its usual fluency, and the fly half often appeared to be forcing plays rather than orchestrating them naturally. Tony Brown's perspective under Tony Brown, the former All Blacks fly half turned Springboks attack coach. Tony Brown has worked closely with Feinberg-Mngomezulu over the past 2 years in the national environment. Having been an elite playmaker himself, Brown understands the unique pressures that come with wearing the number 10 jersey. His assessment is calm and constructive rather than critical. In the Springbok environment, the way we train, the way we play, and the way we use every player to do his job, he fits in and it's easy for him. Brown explained at a press conference in Cape Town. For Brown, the difference lies in structure and clarity of role. Within the Springbok system, every player has clearly defined responsibilities. The fly half is not expected to produce magic every phase. Instead, he operates within a collective framework where forwards dominate collisions, scrum halves manage tempo, and outside backs execute finishing roles. Sacha understands his role in the Springbok setup, Brown said. He doesn't have to do everything on his own. At the Stormers, however, Brown believes Feinberg-Mngomezulu may be attempting to shoulder too much responsibility. The Stormers are in a bit of a slump, and he's probably trying to do too much by himself. He noted a simple but powerful message. Brown's advice is straightforward. If I have to say something to him, it would be, use the players around you more. Don't always try to take everyone on yourself. Let the players around you help you. It is a message rooted in both tactical understanding and psychological awareness. Playmakers often feel compelled to spark turnarounds when their team is struggling. They may attempt ambitious passes, force offloads, or attack defensive lines that are not properly fractured. While such risks can generate momentum, they can also compound pressure when unsuccessful. Brown's counsel suggests that Feinberg-Mngomezulu's best form will return when he trusts the collective rather than chasing individual solutions. But the weight of leadership and talent. Feinberg-Mngomezulu's career trajectory has been steep. At just 24, he has already captained his club, starred on the international stage, and drawn comparisons to some of the world's finest fly halves. Such rapid ascent brings expectation. For supporters, he represents the future of South African playmaking. For opponents, he is a target. For teammates, he is both conductor and decision-maker. Balancing these demands is not simple, especially during a downer in results. Leadership changes, tactical scrutiny, and public criticism can subtly influence confidence. Even a supremely talented player may hesitate for a fraction of a second, enough to alter outcomes at professional level. The bigger picture for the Stormers, while Feinberg-Mngomezulu's form has been highlighted, rugby remains the ultimate team sport. Defensive lapses, breakdown inefficiencies, and missed opportunities have all contributed to the Stormers' recent defeats. The URC table remains tightly contested, and a return to winning ways could quickly restore their position among the frontrunners. With experienced campaigners and emerging stars throughout the squad, the tools for recovery are firmly in place. What may be required is composure. The same composure Brown sees when Feinberg-Mngomezulu pulls on the green and gold jersey, a test of growth for young elite athletes. Slumps can serve as critical developmental chapters. They reveal not only technical adjustments required, but also mental resilience. Feinberg-Mngomezulu has already demonstrated that he can perform under the brightest international lights. The challenge now is to translate that same clarity and balance back into his club environment during adversity. Brown's guidance is less about mechanics and more about mindset. Trust the system, trust the structure, trust your teammates. In many ways, it is advice that applies beyond one player. Looking ahead, the Stormers' season is far from lost. Sitting fifth in the URC, they remain well within striking distance of playoff positions. A strong run in the coming weeks could completely shift the narrative. For Feinberg-Mngomezulu, the focus will be on rediscovering rhythm rather than reinventing his game. The talent that dazzled European crowds with the Springboks has not disappeared. It simply needs space to reemerge. If Brown's assessment proves correct, the solution lies not in doing more, but in doing less. In elite rugby, sometimes the bravest decision a fly half can make is the simplest one. Pass, kick, organize, and trust. And if Sacha Feinberg-Mngomezulu embraces that philosophy, the Stormers' slump may soon feel like nothing more than a brief interruption in what promises to be a remarkable career.